Esports and the Blockchain, Buzzwords, or a quantum leap forward. With Samir, Ceric, Blocksport AG.
Good afternoon, everyone. A little bit of housekeeping. The two gentlemen with me here are not Eloisa and Tilen. It's actually the guys, the co-founders of the esports team that we'll be talking about today. I'm not giving them any questions ahead of this panel because I want to make it a little bit more interactive when it comes down to that. So the questions are going to be very much coming out of the answers they give us. And I also want to engage and encourage both of them to pick on certain things they say to actually deliver something that's actually more interesting for the audience that's listening. So I'm Samir Ceric, I'm a CEO of a Blocksport. We are a sports tech company that provides the ecosystem when it comes down to the blockchain, to the esports and traditional sports. And I will start with the first question, and that goes to both of you. Just tell me, what's the biggest opportunity as the co-founders of esports team between esports and blockchain?
Hello everybody, my name is Timur Savljevic, and I'm one of the co-founders from Cyberwolves Esports. So basically, the question was, what's the biggest opportunity between the esports and the blockchain? And that's a pretty simple question because as you might know, the esports is an esport, electronic sport, connected with the games, and basically all the games are digital, meaning that blockchain implementation into the whole game system is very simple. So, you can connect all the NFTs on digital level, and then also implement it on the physical level by implementing the skins and like in-game content to the real world, also connecting it with other NFTs. So you also have in-game currency in games, so basically you can also exchange the currency with the cryptocurrency if the game actually allows that. So there's a lot of other options as well, but these are like the two biggest ones.
Can I ask you a question, considering both of you are co-founders of your own team? When you first started out to where you are now, and where you're going to be in the 2 or 3 years' time, how's the journey been, and what are the biggest commercial opportunities when it comes down to exactly what you just talked about, the digital currency, the digital assets, the virtual goods, the emergence of AI and VR inside esports a lot more than the traditional sports. So just tell us, how the journey has been and what the future holds for you and your team.
Greetings everyone, I'm Tilen Burja, OG founder of Cyberwolves. So basically regarding the journey, there were like ups and downs, and like I would say that like the natural growth, like winning a smaller tournament, going to a bigger one and bigger, just brings you more reach, more fans, more community, and yeah, overall more knowing of a brand. But like I would say the biggest like innovation is like a streaming. Like this is much different than like regular sports, right? Because like you can interact live with like the person, like the player, the gamer that you want to see. Like you can interact with the chat, and like I think that crypto can be really used here, like in like NFTs or like just currencies, like just donation for the streamers. Like there is a big market here, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And do you think the blockchain could actually democratize the sort of the entire esports industry? And the second question is, what's your view on decentralized platforms, and how can they be beneficial for the founders like you, but also the players out there in the broader spectrum?
Okay, so I think yeah, it's going to be a pretty big deal with that, yeah, because like I think crypto can make everything easier with the Def.ai. So yeah, I think it's just better for both parties. and specifically for like the user to interact with it.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to that? No. Okay. So, my own view in terms of the democratization of the esports industry off the back of the blockchain is obviously the power of smart contracts. We all know that historically, in any sort of a relationship between agencies, between the clubs and the players, it was not always happy times, because it was open to all sorts of ways in which you structure deals. I think the emergence of blockchain, the emergence of smart contracts track every single transactions when it comes down to the decentralized platforms in particular. So I think it's important to note, and I speak to lots of esports teams around the world, that they're really in favor of the way in which the sort of the blockchain technology is underpinning everything that traditional and esports are today entering as the new marketplace. Now, I had a panel earlier on how betting companies and betting providers are entering the esports world, and what's the relationship between the two. Have you guys had experience with any of the betting partnerships with your own esports team, and who are the main sponsors and supporters of your team?
So regarding betting, like we are playing in this right now EBL, like this is Esports Balkan League, and basically the rules of the league prohibit us to have crypto sponsor or betting sponsor, because the game is League of Legends and just the rules are made like this. But in other games like Counter-Strike, it's a bit different, right? Like it's a different owner, it's Valve. And like in that segment, like I've been seeing like a lot of crypto and like betting sponsors coming in. But yeah, it really depends on the game and on the league that you're playing and the rules that are in the game.
Okay. Now, in terms of where the team sits today, and you told me earlier on that you have won the regional league, you have had tremendous success over the past few years. How do you go on about recruiting both your sponsors and attracting some of the best players in the region, in the world, to actually come to your team and play on your behalf? What's the strategy of really offering things to your partners and sponsors, and also attracting the best players? And then I've got another question in terms of your digital ecosystem, but I will ask you afterwards.
Okay, so I will talk about recruiting the players. So generally, like, you need to make them comfortable, right? Like, they need to feel like home in your team. Like you need to cherish them, you need to care about them, you need to really work with them. Not just like a one-way street, it's like a two-way, right? So if you really listen to them, if you give them also power to basically choose the players that they want to play with, it really helps. It also builds the better synergy between both parties, and like that model really worked for us. But also, like, you need to start with like a good player to attract more good players, right? Because nobody wants to play in a bad team. So the hardest start is just finding that one or two good players, and then building the team around is much easier. Yeah. But I would like to give the word to my co-founder about the sponsors. Yeah.
Okay, so with the sponsors in our region, the Balkan region, it's a bit a different story, because we are founded in Slovenia, and Slovenia, of course, is a small market. There's only 2 million people, so sponsors are usually pretty careful with who they go with. So acquiring regional sponsors is usually harder than acquiring global partners. So with our connections, with our pitching and everything, we managed to secure one of the greatest crypto companies, NextHash. So basically, we started collaborating with them this year. They opened up a lot of opportunities for our company, as well as for our players, basically. with them, we're also going to be going into the crypto market. So we're going to offer our players, our sponsors, our potential investors added NFT value with added collections, with, like I said, physical products directly linked to the NFTs. And regarding the other sponsors, it is always good to connect with companies that they have like a similar audience. So basically, one of our early sponsors is Delta Hub. Delta Hub is actually a product meant for wrist injuries. And it goes well with the gamers, because a lot of gamers, a lot of times they play for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And the most common injury at the age of 24 for a player is a wrist injury. So basically with their product, we managed to develop a gaming version of it for esports. And we believe that this product actually can help a lot of players in esports all around, you know, the world. So basically, it's always placed strategically for the sponsors. There's always opportunity to even extend if the placement is not like right at the moment. But this is the charm of it, you know. The esport is a pretty wide audience. It's a big community. It's competitive. It's made for fun, you know. So it actually catches a lot of people from young to adults, you know. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. As a former president of a football club, I remember sort of being inaugurated and addressing the fans of the club that's 100 years old. And there's somebody who's a great believer that a pyramid in the sports tech space should really change, or in the industry should change, from the fans being on top, the club operators being in the middle, and then the blockchain technology partners like us being at the bottom to service and facilitate opportunities for their engagement. What does your digital ecosystem look like from that viewpoint of furthering your fan engagements, and what sort of benefits do you offer to your fans when it comes down to really retaining them and acquiring new ones in the weeks, months and years to come?
So basically, our digital ecosystem, which we started working on as like from the beginning, it was fairly simple, but now we're extending it. So basically, we're on every single social platform, you know, offering people some news regarding our company, regarding our events, where we're going to be, how they can connect or potentially meet our players. And it's all connected also to the NFTs we're developing right now with the collection, you know, with people being able to collect it, you know, they will have additional value.
Quick question, do you have a fan engagement app which is blockchain based that belongs to your team or showcases your team?
Right now, not yet, but as we speak, it's being developed and it should launch in a few months' time.
And do you not think that you've gone the wrong way around? Because if you look at the sort of the A to Z guidelines of how you develop yourself as a brand, the key thing, as we mentioned, is your fan base. Because without a fan base, it's very, very hard to sell your team to sponsors, because all the sponsors want is data. They want access to your fans because they want to turn them into consumers. So if you've done what most clubs unfortunately have done, which is a silo effect of having your tokens, your NFTs, but never actually looked at building it from the foundation upwards, how are you going to reverse doing it the wrong way around with now the development of your fan app, and when do you plan to launch it?
So basically, the whole idea of the app is to create a fan area. You know, like on football, you had football special, special clubs where people can meet, you know, discuss, talk all about the club. And here is this pretty similar concept for all the fans, the biggest fans, the most enthusiastic ones, to connect to each other and to get the added value out of it, you know, because not every single fan is the same, and basically everyone is unique, and you cannot count them as numbers but as persons. And in that way, we were planning on implementing all of these special systems for our fans to really, you know, return them what they're putting into our organization as fans on the live streams, on the content creators that we have on our live streams, and on our social media and Discord servers, you know. So,
do you have something to add to that?
Basically, I just want to say that we also have one of the biggest fan base. Like in Slovenia, we have the biggest esport fan base. And in Balkan, we've been growing really rapidly. Like if you watch our streams on our professional games, basically in the chat, there are all wolves. Like everybody just spamming the wolves. And basically, like we started with gathering the fans, like the community first, and then just basically transforming it into this platform.
Okay, that's good. So you didn't answer when are you hoping to launch your fan engagement app for your fans?
So basically, right now, it's in a early to mid development phase, being tested by the most loyal, the closest fans that were with us since the beginning. So we also get the most valuable engagement back from them. So if all goes well, it might be at the end of this year or with the first quarter of the next year.
Okay, and what's the team's strategy to globalize what you're doing? It seems to me that you've achieved a regional success. You're one of the best, if not the best, in the games you play, having won the Balkans League as well. How do you globalize and enter some big prize tournaments? And how do you also attract the fans who are not from this region, who will, you know, come in droves and support what you do just because, you know, you are becoming one of the most talked about esports teams in what you do?
Okay. So the biggest problem that every single small esport organization is facing is funding. So without the funding, you cannot contract the players, you cannot put out the marketing, you cannot do basically anything. So finding companies, finding potential investors or sponsors that can help you out with the first step is crucial. And when there is money, you know, you just need the best team that's motivated, that has the ambition to grow, to become one of the best or the best, not on just regional, but like global area. So that's why we are now going.
Could I just say something? As somebody who's in the game of investing on behalf of the investment funds that I work closely with and raising capital for the companies and listing companies at stock markets, one of the common things that any founder I meet that tells me is that if we had more money, we'd have more success. Why do you think money is so critical to your success? And if you were sat in front of an investor who was genuinely interested in investing in esports teams, why should they invest in you?
Okay, yeah. So basically, like my colleague said, like the biggest problem is like just starting, right? Because like we've been grinding this for like a couple of years, and like just the market in our region like doesn't support that. And like, but we gather the players, like we gather really good players. And on daily basis, other organizations are stealing our players because we don't have enough money to secure them. And basically, I just don't know, like a lot of players have been lost already, and it's been pretty hard in that way, but still there are some that stay loyal to the cause, and we just want to go with them till the end and make it big, yeah?
So if I put 1 million euros on the table, how much of your business would I take in terms of the company valuation?
Sorry, could you please repeat
So
it?
if I put 1 million euros on the table today, how much, what sort of stake would I buy in your team with 1 million euros? And how do you value your business or your team on that type of valuation?
So basically, if we would have gotten 1 million today, basically, that would open a lot of opportunities for us, pushing us further into the global areas, the biggest tournaments and leagues on this planet. so with this investment, or company or a single person, the stake would be getting some equity maybe in the company, or putting the name everywhere with our successes, with our products that we're willing to launch, with our crypto NFT segment that we have in the background, and with everything basically we're doing. So right now at this moment I cannot publicly discuss what all we're planning, because that's our added value that separates us from the rest. But I think my colleague Tilen would like to add something to this.
I just want to say that we come from Balkan, and like even the people, like they don't expect much, and like it's gaming, right? So like it isn't that supportive, and like I think with 1 mil we are conquering Europe in a year. Like we are the best in Europe in a year. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Very, very ambitious two young gentlemen. I wish you all the best. I think one piece of advice, you have to probably look at your strategy on the digital and the blockchain, and really make sure in your preparation stages of launching of your app that you really interact and connect all the dots, because when you go into the world of fundraising, and I'm sure you will be there very, very soon, it's going to be very important how your digital ecosystem looks like. But I wish you all the best, and thank you for the conversation today.